gentlemen, podcasting since 2005. You're listening to Gamertag Radio with your hosts, podcaster Hall of Famer Danny Peña, the always opinionated Paris Lilly, and from outside of the norm, Peter Toledo. This is Gamertag Radio.
Welcome to Gamertag Radio, episode 1297. This is your host, Danny Peña, and also joining me once again, the whole Gamertag Radio crew. And let's start with Pete. What's up, Pete?
What's up?
Everything is good, man. How's everything over there?
Hot.
32
degrees, no air conditioning. Man's is mad. I'm upset.
Well, it looks like we're going to get a storm over here in a couple hours. In LA, Southern California, but I left Florida thinking, oh, that's it, I'm done. No more hurricanes and tropical storms. But it looks like it's coming here. First hurricane.
It's 37?
Hurricane warning or it's tropical storm warning.
It's 1937 or something like that.
Well, 1937, a storm arrived here, but there was no warning. This is the first one in the history of California. So. And we also have Paris. What's going on, Paris? What's up?
Hey, good morning. How you doing?
Good. How's everything over there? Your area? Is it raining a lot?
Yeah, it's already raining here. Not like hard, but you know, it's raining a little bit over here. Like I said, I'm not expecting too much in my area. Since it's a tropical storm, the winds won't be too crazy. I don't think there'll be any type of real flooding, you know, where I'm at. I'm just more concerned about San Diego because San Diego is not built for any of that. So we'll see.
It gets flooded with it quick, right?
Yeah.
I've seen videos. I'm like, oh, not cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, everybody hope everybody stays safe. I don't play around. I don't mess around with this stuff, man. So, all right. So head over to gamertagradio.com. Post your comments and feedback. Listen to our past episodes. Also, you can find us on any podcast app. Just search for Gamertag Radio. Make sure to follow us, subscribe, and also post your review. If you would like to be part of our family discussion, send your comments, feedback, questions, all that stuff. This is how you could contact us.
Send us your feedback or questions. Give us a call at 786-273-7GTR. Email us at fanmail@gamertagradio.com or leave a message on speakpipe.com/gamertagradio.
All right, first thing first, and this is the only thing I will say unless Paris and Pete want to say something too. So we are going to review Starfield. There's an embargo, and it's Thursday, August 31st at 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. We plan to have a whole episode of just GTR, about Starfield here on GTR. So stay tuned for that. That's the only thing I will say. Paris and Pete, unless you guys want to say anything else from there, we can move on. Good? Okay, there you go. All right, so... All right, so and this is good news. As a fan of Alan Wake, I saw the news that the game got delayed by just a couple of days, 10 days. Now the game is officially coming out October 27th later this year. I'm happy because that game was coming out during a 10-day period of just non-stop releases, and I think there's going to be a little bit now breathing room for the game to, you know, people are going to start playing it right before Halloween. I think this is like the perfect time, in my opinion, of to release Alan Wake 2. I know the fans are still going to buy it no matter what. I'm just curious to see like the new fans. Are they going to buy it during that time? Or are they going to wait or not buy it at all? We'll see. But I just want to hear the thoughts from the guys, P and Paris. So let's go with Paris because I know we've been having this discussion about all these games coming out in October.
Well, I told you somebody was going to blink, and we've now seen 2 games blink out of that window. Yep. I'm still not convinced that pushing it 10 days is enough. I think now you're just coming out a week after Spider-Man 2 and Mario, and a week or two before Call of Duty. It still feels like a Titanfall 2 situation to me personally, and that's a damn shame because I mean I think I know how huge of an Alan Wake fan that you are, and I'm definitely intrigued, after Summer Game Fest to check out the sequel. But there's just gonna be so many other things that take a priority for me over Alan Wake 2. That even coming out on the 27th, I don't know if that's the right time. I just personally, and this is me, I personally think you drop that thing in January. I think January is the perfect time for that game, where it gets room to breathe. It's not competing with these other major AAA titles. I think you'll see people more apt to want to go jump in and check it out. Now they've gone through the holiday. They played Spider-Man. They played Mario. They played Assassin's Creed, Forza, Starfield, Phantom Liberty, all this other stuff that's coming out. I think that's the right window for Alan Wake 2, in my opinion. But, we'll see.
Yeah, and this is more from Epic Games, because they're publishing this game. Remedy, I bet Remedy wants this game to come out even sooner or a different day, but it's all depends on the publisher, man. So, but I think personally, again, I think this is gonna be good because it's a little bit of breathing room for the devs and also for the game. So, but Pete, what about your thoughts, man?
No, I second it. Right. I mean, if you think about it, the only other game coming out in January as of right now is Prince of Persia.
Wait. Oh, January. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Right. I agree with him. I mean, you could either launch it then or you launch it in February against Suicide Squad. Right. Mm-hmm. I think honestly, just because of us being a fan of the game, I think those games line up better competitively against either of those two versus putting it out in the Q4 juggernaut that is every year of video game launches. Right. Why do that? Why do that to your title? Why jeopardize a successful launch, even though it could be potentially fantastic and great based on what we've seen and played from the past? I can't disagree with Paris as much as I want to, especially over the last 48 hours. As much as I want to, it's true. You don't do that to your own title. You're not doing it justice. You're actually putting it at a potential deficit or I don't want to say disrespect to it or whatever, but it's just do yourselves a favor and ensure a better launch by putting it in January and February. It also gives you time to add more polish, whether you need it or not. And I understand developers and publishers all have agreements that it has to launch and sell X numbers, and holiday season is probably the best time to launch it based on that. But I don't know, you putting it in that October, November timeframe, you're going to set your guys up for failure. And like we've talked about in the past with the whole, if you put a parent into the store to buy a game, they're going to see the juggernaut titles, the Starfields, etc., and they're going to be like, Alan Wake, who?
Well, let's hold on that, Pete, because this game is only going to be available digitally. There's no physical. So I was going to ask you guys, like, is going to hurt the sales because people can't go to the store. They can't buy that game. They could buy Starfield. They could buy Assassin's Creed and all these other games, physical version, but no, you got to buy it all online, digitally. So that's something I'm like, is that going to hurt a little bit?
I think it does. I think it does, but I mean, if you think about it in the grand scheme of things, when you compare that versus the sustainability factor of launching a plastic title, right? A physical title. Yes, I get it. Plastic. I get it. Well, I mean, you got the case as plastic, right? Not just talking about in general, right? Just the sustainability factor of it. You're contributing to e-waste by selling it on the stores. I don't know. I don't know how much I don't know if I delve deep enough into the numbers to know the difference of how well a game will sell numbers wise, physically versus digitally. And I don't know if it'll impact it any more or any less. Me personally, I'd rather have an all digital catalog. I can download it as necessary or whenever I want. I can play it whenever I want. But yeah. I think that decision should be left to the consumer and not taken out. I see both sides, but I am more on the side of allow the consumer to make that decision as to whether they want to have a physical disc or not.
All All right, let's go to the next topic, man. So, look, I haven't watched the video. I was gonna ask you guys about this. So, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 has been fully revealed. There's a video out right now, and this is coming out November 10th. Again, a couple of days after Alan Wake and all these other games. After that, again, this year is gonna be busy, man, because it's Call of Duty, and then after Call of Duty, I believe the Avatar game is coming out early December. I think that's gonna be like the last big game for this year, and then we're back at it in January with Prince of Persia and other ones and stuff. So, I know there's gonna be early access. Typically, they've been doing that now for like the past couple of years. In there, Modern Warfare 3. I know, Pete, you always been a huge fan of the Modern Warfare series in the past. This one's also gonna have zombie mode, campaign, multiplayer, everything. Are you excited for this, or you're already completely done? I know when we met way back, that was like your thing, just shooters and Call of Duty.
Version 1.1 of Pete was the heavy Call of Duty influence.
Heavy.
Everything was
Heavy
Call of Duty. I think version 2.0 is a little more weathered. Not as big of a massive Call of Duty day-to-day fan. It is somewhat exciting. There was something that dropped yesterday. I think David Vandahar is no longer going to be Call of Duty based anymore. He's leaving. Forgot where he's currently at. I can't remember if it was Sledgehammer or Treyarch. I think it was Treyarch. He left to go do something separate from Call of Duty. So best of luck to him. But I mean, again, this is one of those titles that what we were just talking about with Alan Wake 2 is going to be going up against, right? It's going up. This is launching November 10th, so a few weeks after Alan Wake. But yeah, it's the cross-gen bundle is one of the ones that people are really talking about, because it includes the full game, early access to the beta, and the ability to play the campaign a week early, which for a lot of people, myself included, I prefer to play the campaign first, get it out of the way, and then go all the way into the multiplayer. But there's another version. There's the Vault Edition, which has campaign early access, open beta early access, the SOAP operator pack, and then you get the Nemesis operator pack and 2 weapon vaults. And then the Nemesis operator pack includes 4 operators, so you can play as Price, Ghost, Warden, or Makarov. And yes, they've already teased that Makarov is coming back. Vladimir Makarov is returning, with Task Force 141 is going to be coming back again as well. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. There's also another thing called open combat missions, where it kind of leads you in and out of the cinematics that are in the game. And if you like it, you can play with stealth mechanics, or if you just want to go all out, Juggernaut style, that is your option. That's usually what I end up doing when I miss my sniper suppress shots. But yeah, I am somewhat looking forward to it, because I've always enjoyed the single player campaign part of it. Although I'm not as big of a multiplayer fan of Call of Duty as I was before, I will always usually pick up the game just for the campaign and play it, regardless of whether it's anywhere from 6 to 8 to 10 hours is usually what it runs out to. But I'm looking forward to it. I am looking forward to this.
Yeah, I can't wait to try out Zombies, because I always play that, and so can't wait for that. Paris, about you, man? You're done with Call of Duty, or are you going to try this out, or what?
I'm not done with Call of Duty, but to me, this is just same old stuff, different year. I'm not seeing anything that jumps out and super excites me, like, oh my God, I got to play this day one. Look, I understand it's the number one game in the world, so I'm not trying to diminish it at all. But for me, there's way more other things I'd rather be playing this year than Call of Duty. So I'll get to it when I get to it.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with you, man. So this one is an interesting one. This news, in a way, it kind of reminded me of in the past when they tend to like shut down the eShop and all that stuff. So it looks like, and it's officially announced that the Xbox 360 store is closing next year. I know there's about 200 games or so that was only released there, and once this shuts down, It's completely gone. So but I don't know if you can still re-download it or what with the new store.
You can.
You can?
Yeah, if you've deleted a game that you've purchased, you can still re-download it.
If you purchase. I'm talking about if it's a new purchase, I'm talking about. New purchase. That's the part that I'm kind of like, I don't know, man, if it's good or not, man. Because those games are, historic. It's part of history, like, but now how I'm going to find it if it's not available, because some of these games are not, it's not available on it's not available on this one. So I just want to hear your thoughts about this, man, because that kind of bothers me. Especially Nintendo been notorious when it comes to this stuff, like shutting the eShop, and that's it. Those games are never gonna be out there again because of it, So, I'm
curious. I am curious what denotes a purchase, because if you got like a Game Pass game and you added it to your account, was that included? Was that considered a quote unquote purchase, even though it was a null transaction? Would you still be able to play it or download it? If it was part of that backwards compatibility inventory.
But some of those games are not Game Pass, Pete. That's what I'm talking. Oh, that's his first.
I'm just saying in general, any game that was released through the Game Pass program that allowed you to download it for free and it was in your catalog, you could download it and play it whenever you wanted, provided you had the console and an active subscription. With this store going down, I think in the interest of consumer happiness, they should release a list of games and make them readily available to consumers. So if they need to download them one last time before they go bye-bye, I think it was July next year.
Yeah, July of next year, yeah.
No.
I mean, you still have time to purchase these games if you have your old Xbox 360 and go out there and download it, but we'll see. Paris, you got a lot of games from that era too that you bought, that like indie games or anything like that you think is gonna be hard to find?
Ironically enough, like the ones that I care about, I actually still have on physical disc. So, but to what Pete was saying, I think of it this way: if the game came out on Game Pass, it would still be available to you as long as it's still available on Game Pass. Once it's no longer available on Game Pass, you technically should not have access to it anymore unless you own it. That's kind of the way that I see that. I just think overall, I'm kind of conflicted on how I feel about this, because I think at a certain point you got to move on from previous eras. I mean, we're talking to 360, that was 2 generations ago. So I kind of get them wanting to shut it down, but to the point that, now these games are no longer available to you to access if you've never owned it, if you've never downloaded it. So it's kind of a catch-22 in that way, where the games that I'm trying to look at it this way, and I don't think this isn't a good or a bad thing. It's just, it is what it is. The reality of it is this: if there's a game from that 360 era that you care so much about that you want to make sure you still have access to your point, go get it now if you don't already own it, because they're giving you enough of a heads up that you can't cry foul. Well, I didn't know. Well, no, they're telling you now that, I don't know if it's Banjo-Kazooie 12 and you got to have it, you better go get it now, because you're no longer going to have access to purchase it, after that date. But the historical effect, the digital library, you want these games to always be available to people. And that's the kind of the part that I don't like, but I get why they're moving on. And I would imagine this is where, the reality of it, they're going to use Game Pass as a way to say that we're preserving those games, that we can always bring them back through Game Pass. I think that's what it's going to be, if you don't own it already.
I can see that.
We'll see.
I can see that.
Because it's not like they're getting rid of the digital footprint of these games, because the point is taken. If you own it, you can go back and re-download it if you need to. So it's not going away if you own it. They're basically saying, from this point forward, we're no longer going to allow you to purchase these legacy titles. That's really what they're saying. Mm-hmm. So I get it. I don't get it. You know what I mean? I get it on one hand. I don't like it on the other hand. So it's kind of a, catch-22 in that way, because they're digital. So you would think that these games would always be available, at a certain point. But clearly that's not how this works.
Yeah. Do you remember when at years ago when we heard they were going to shut down the online features from the original Xbox. That was a huge controversy too back then, but it made sense because Xbox wanted to add a lot of the new online features for the new system, and so it made sense to shut that down. So I'm wondering, by shutting down the 360, is that going to help to add more new features in the future for the
very well could
console?
be, and that very well could be the case of what's happening here, but obviously we won't know unless they go on record and tell us.
Yeah. Well, for those that are listening, please send us your feedback. I'm curious to hear your thoughts about the change. Remember, hit us up, fanmail@gamertagradio.com. All right, so we're going to play this interview. I was actually at the Konami office. I'm not going to say what I got to see, but we're going to play a couple of interviews here that I recorded. And once we come back, I have a couple fan mail questions for us. So we'll be right back after this.
You're listening to Gamertag Radio.
My name is Benjamin Kinney. I'm the director of brand here at Konami, and we'll be talking about Metal Gear Solid.
And I know when you were on stage, you're very passionate about this project, man. And you were saying that you're very excited that this is coming out for a new generation that haven't played this at all. So tell us a little bit about this collection, because I know Konami in the past have released collections. Is it going to be similar to those, or going to be a little bit different?
So I'm glad you mentioned our old collections. We really feel like we've set a baseline standard for expectation with a lot of our old collections, whether that be the Castlevania collections we did or the more recent TMNT collection we did. So when we did the new Metal Gear collection, same standards, same goals, right? It's how can we blow away not just core fans but new fans with these incredible games? And so, as I said on stage, my first game was Metal Gear Solid 2 out of this series, and the idea of sitting down with my son and playing on the Switch is something that's very exciting for me. And then as just a gamer, having access to all these different Metal Gear games, I'm going to put it on Steam and play it that way and have a good time doing that as well.
So it's the first Metal Gear, right?
It's Metal Gear 2. Metal Gear, but it's called Snake's Revenge, which was technically Metal Gear 2 in North America for a while until actual Metal Gear 2 came out.
Yeah.
And then all the different solids.
Yeah.
And then all the different regional versions of those solids based off of the HD collection version.
Yeah, awesome. And any other bonus?
Yeah,
content?
so it's incredible. You're going to have to dig in deep.
Yeah.
But you got the scripts. You can zoom in on scripts. You can read all the fine details. There's these really great detailed high visual books that you can, again, zoom in. You can see the different character interactions. There's all the music, which big fans of the music. And of course, if you pre-order or you get the day one version, you get some new re-records, orchestral music as well.
Now, is that something where I have to work to get those bonus content, or is everything is already open?
No, it's open.
It's
you
open.
just, yeah,
okay.
you just,
There's some collections that are like that.
you got to work for it. Yeah, no, all this stuff is open.
Yeah.
So based on your region, you'll get your region stuff, and then if you can go and if you want to play a different region's version or something, you can go find it as DLC.
Yeah. And so you said you love Metal Gear 2 Part 2, right? That's your
Metal
first
Gear
one.
2 was the one. It was the mind bender, right?
Yeah. So I mean, is going to be any major changes visually for those that are going to play for again bringing it back to like this version now for the console? Is it going to be very different, or is it kind of similar to?
So across the board with the whole collection, as much as possible, it tried to stay true to the original visions of the game. So we did have to make accommodations for modern technology. In fact, they're playing in there right now on an 85-inch TV in 4K, right?
Yeah.
So some adjustments were made, whether it was putting in backdrop art or slight rescaling, but by and large, it's true to whatever the original intent for that final HD collection version, that final version of that game for the NES, for the MSX, whatever version it was. It's that creator vision is still there.
Now, for the Switch version, is that something where I'm going to get the cartridge, right, the physical version, but in there, am I have to like download like the games, or everything's going to be in just one?
Yeah, no, great question. So just to accommodate, so the Switch is unique of the different consoles.
Sure.
When you get the cartridge, you will get it'll install an app that'll put the bonus content on there, and it'll put Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2 on there as well. And then you can a la carte choose which of the other games that you want to install. It'll load them up. You just go and pull them off the store, or it'll start auto-downloading depending on how your Switch is set up. But we did have to make accommodations for the Switch just because of the nature of the Switch itself.
Yeah, exactly. Now, for Steam Deck, How's that? Have you tried a Steam Deck? And I love the Steam Deck.
I haven't personally got to. My buddy had his Steam Deck out, and he left for Germany. And I was like, can we test? And he's like, I got to go. So he's going to Gamescom. When he gets back, we're going to do the Steam Deck testing. So I'm super stoked for it. It's supposed to be great. I just I personally haven't had a chance to touch it yet.
Awesome. And for those that curious about this game, and when its official date and platforms?
Sure. Yeah, it's coming out PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, PC, Steam. It's coming out October the 26th. Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
awesome, man. Now, Ben, thanks a lot for the conversation. I can't wait to check it out, man.
Absolutely, and I can't wait for you to play it. I hope you get to play it with friends and people who've never played it before.
Oh, I have friends that are very, very hardcore Metal Gear fans, so definitely going to be playing
just
it.
Everybody just blow each other. I'm watching the two guys, and they're just, whoa, this is here, and this is here. I can't wait to see that internet discussion. Some bets are going to be won and lost, they said.
Awesome.
That's great.
But thanks a lot, man.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you.
Awesome, man.
Hi, my name is Christian Spears. I'm brand manager here at Konami, and we're here to talk about CYGNI, All Guns Blazing.
Man, I had a blast playing that game. Very, very challenging, man. Are you pretty good in the game or what?
I think I'm all right, but I love those types of games. I was talking about before that, with Gradius and
that's a classic too.
Yeah, like I'm a real fan of the top-down shooter, and this game, just so excited for it.
And for those that don't know much about the game, what you could tell us a little bit about?
So CYGNI is a top-down shooter game, but it's different in the sense of the immersion, the overall graphics are so much different. The gameplay, you have AI enemies that follow you and track you everywhere. But the story, the gripping story, is the fact that you are the last on a fleet. Correct? You are you're the pilot here that's going to blast through all these biochemical enemies. And that's something that I thought was really cool, was just like the difference with the graphics, story, and just overall just like gameplay.
Yeah, and it's very, very challenging. So I think I died like 3 times, but I kept on going. I got to the first boss of the game. So but yeah, I know you were saying in the presentation too that the AI is very, very different.
Yes,
depends on your movements too, right? So it studied your movements. What happens after that?
So it studies your movements, and it's studying your patterns. So as you're flying around, it's tracking you, trying to shoot you down from there. So like they're not going to give up, and like your goal there is just like to really breeze, like try to not breeze through, but try to run around and like try to make sure that you can get through them. I'm sure you ran into some.
Yeah. I mean, it took me a while to get used to it. It was like a lot going on happening on the screen and stuff. But I know that. There's a shield you could use, right? There's missiles.
Yes.
You could also change the type of weapon too, right?
Right. So you can change the weapons from lasers, missiles. There's like kind of like an electric like type like attack, and then you can also change the positioning, because there's ground units that you can.
That's
shoot.
what I was going to ask you.
Yes.
Like, because I noticed I was trying to shoot them, but they weren't getting hurt at all. It was because I had to change the weapon for that.
No. So not change the weapon. You're gonna change the direction, actually. So this is a 2-stick shoot. It's a 2-stick shooter for this game specifically, that you can you shoot, and you can you choose the angle where you're shooting at, right? But the thing is, like, you are able to shoot downwards and point that angle. So you do have soldiers that help you out, but you're able to destroy the units on the floor for more points.
Yeah, and I noticed there's multiplayer, I believe, in the game. Like, so I noticed that it was going up really, really fast, and I was getting a lot more points too. In there, and yeah, tell us a little bit about the developers that worked on this game too.
So we're really proud of the skills that they bring. Konami is just really excited to work with Keelworks, and just overall the skills that they bring to us is amazing. From what you see from the overall design to the gameplay, and we couldn't be more proud.
And I know you're saying that this is their first game that actually worked on like their first project, or no?
I believe so, but I'd like to get better,
of course,
better answer for you. Better information for you. But off the top of my head, I believe so. But I would just have to double check, with them.
Yeah, and what else you could tell us about like the cinematics and other things about the game?
Man, so something that like I was talking about, it was the cinematics. Those something about one of the co-owners, he worked a little bit with Pixar, and you can really see that influence in the game. the one thing that I thought was really great is that traditionally with these top-down shooters, you see like the background kind of gets blurry and it blends in, but with this, you really get to see, you see different cities being blown up. You see the flashing lights of like certain signs, and you see the different creatures on the ground, and so everything feels like it's alive and moving.
Yeah, even the bosses too.
Right,
coming up out of nowhere, I'm like, okay, it's about to get intense, and the music is really, really good too.
The music,
yeah, and I think that's personally for me. I think that's the most important because that really gets you the vibe of like whatever's happening at the moment, right? So yeah, it's really good. What is it that you like about this game personally for you?
For me, I am a core fan of top-down shooters and shoot 'em ups, but I think what really gets me excited is I love animation, and I think that the jump from the original shooter games to this, I think that's what makes me so excited. I used to play these games in arcades in a laundromat, like from seeing it back when I was playing in the 90s to now. I think what just makes me excited is that there's nostalgia, but it's for newer gen, and I think that just personally what makes me so happy.
Are you guys have already an official date for this yet or not?
So we'll be announcing more information soon, but just stick around for that.
And this is going to be on all platforms?
So this will be for PlayStation 5, Steam, and then the Xbox Series.
Awesome, man. But thanks a lot for the interview, man. And hopefully I could talk to the developers, could have a lot of questions about the game too. But thanks a lot, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome.
Thank you.
This is Gamertag Radio.
All right. So we have a couple questions here, and it's time for fan mail.
Fan mail at gamertagradio.com.
All right. So we have two. So let's go with the first one. Greetings, Paris, Danny, and Pete. This is my first time writing in. I listen to your podcast every Monday while going through my inventory duties at work and enjoy the discussions you all have around different topics. Well, thank you, sir. Thank you. A lot of this very insightful and generally neutral, honest takes about what's going on in the video game industry. I appreciate that. It's refreshing. My question to you guys is, in a year that games has been jam-packed with releases with even more on the horizon, what would be a favorite of each of yours that you didn't feel has gotten enough attention? Keep up the amazing content. This is for Marcus. Thank you, Marcus. It looks like Paris wants to go in first. Paris?
No, I don't.
What is your answer?
Answer the question.
Because you look like excited. You're like, ready to say something. So I'm like,
why do you always do that? Answer the question.
What?
Stop worrying about what I'm doing.
I can answer the question, but once I answer the question, you better answer. You better answer too. All right. So for me, I think Alan Wake 2 still, man. Still Alan Wake 2. I see a lot of amazing promotion and preview of other games, but man, Alan Wake 2, it's been over a decade. 13 years since the last game. And I feel like there should be more previews, more coverage about that game. Me personally, for me, as a fan. But that's just me. Also, there's another game that just came out recently, which I think people should definitely check it out if you have Steam or Switch. Is Bum Rush Cyberpunk. That one is the spiritual successor to Jet Set Radio from way back in the days. Remember the Jet Set Radio? So this one looks exactly like the game. Has graffiti, great music, the animation, graphics, everything exactly like Jet Set. So that's another game that I feel like it's not getting enough attention. So those are the two. So Paris, would you like to go next?
Sure. And clearly it's Starfield because, there's no demo, there's no marketing around it. They're just not doing a good enough job.
Not enough marketing.
Yeah. Being serious for a second, believe it or not, Sonic Superstars. I think that's a game that is not getting enough love. That with all these releases that are coming out, you know, obviously you and I were at Summer Game Fest and going hands on with it. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a great game. And you don't really hear anything about it at all, which is unfortunate. But that would probably be mine of a game that I'm definitely looking forward to playing, but it's just not getting enough publicity, you know, for the overall, you know, community to have awareness of it.
Yeah, I wonder if we're gonna see more previews during Gamescom. I hope we get to see something.
Yeah,
more, right?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, can I do a shameless plug right now?
Yeah, sure.
So speaking of Gamescom, that's happening on Tuesday, opening night live with Jeff Keighley. I will be in studio at IGN for the post show for opening night live. So if you want to see my mug on IGN talking about what we just saw at opening night live, I'll be there. So check it out, IGN.
Yo, congratulations, Paris.
Yeah,
there you go. That's awesome. Can't wait. What about you, P? Is there any game that's not getting enough attention?
For me personally, Star Wars Outlaws. I know.
You know what? Agreed. I agree.
I disagree.
Well, it's
you disagree. Okay,
just because you have too much hate in your heart. That's why.
What? How is that hate? So now, okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Look, as an unabashed Star Wars fan, who is still butthurt over the non-launch and cancellation of Star Wars 1313, I am looking forward to this. Plus, I've always been a fan of the things that Massive puts out for the better part of the last few years. So I am looking forward to seeing what this game will be all about. I'm sure the media train will pick up. Okay. I'm sure the media hype train will catch up in due time, but for me personally, I haven't seen enough on it.
Yeah. Sorry, I almost choked.
I saw that.
Can I tell you why? Can I now say why I disagree with you? Can I say that?
Yeah.
Respectfully.
Why?
Because the game's not coming out to 2024, so there's still plenty of time.
It's fine, but it's my opinion.
Yeah, it's his opinion, Paris. Yeah, leave it alone.
I said respectfully. Didn't say nothing mean. I'm just giving you my reason why I disagreed, and then you both attacked me. See what happens here? Y'all both attacked me.
Just because you said respectfully before it doesn't mean anything.
But I was nice. I wasn't mean. I wasn't sarcastic. I wasn't anything. I just said, hey, I think there's still plenty of time. That's the only reason. All I said. And look at you. Look at how you immediately attacked me.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Way to make it about you. No. Way to make it about you, Paris. It's okay.
Anything else, Pete? That's it. Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for sending us the question, man. Shout out to Marcus, man. So we have another question here. Hey guys, I have an Xbox question. With the Series S holding back games, why doesn't Microsoft just release a digital version of the Series X? More and more gamers are going digital only, myself included. So it will make a lot of sense to release a digital version of their flagship console. This is from Jason, aka Black Adam 52. Thanks, Jason, for the email. I mean, there's been rumors that we might see a Series X digital version, but okay, look, I know we had this conversation last week. I just don't see the whole Series S holding back games, like a lot of games. I just don't see that. Maybe one or two, but like multiple games that's been having issues and stuff. I haven't been seeing. Like, I've been playing more, besides the PC, I play more Series S than the X for different reasons. But that's just my opinion. I know probably the guys are going to have different opinions about that, but anybody want to go first? You want to go first, Paris or Pete?
I'm afraid to talk about it, Pete.
Oh, wow. Okay, Pete. You want to go, Pete?
Sure, I'd be happy to.
Yeah, sure you would.
Oh.
Okay.
I think it would. As difficult as it makes me want to say this, it does support Danny's foreskew conspiracy by allowing a digital
years
only,
in the making.
Jesus Christ.
as much as it pains me to say this, it kind of does make sense, especially going off of what we just talked about earlier in the show with the whole sustainability. I don't see it. I'm sure there might be a market for it these days, and I know Danny's just, he's just elated with joy right now because his dream is coming true.
It's not a dream. It's a reality. And it's been like that for a while. You know why? Foreskew? I was ahead of game, man, with a lot of things. Digital, 4 consoles, all that stuff. But you know what? Thank you, people, for giving me props. You're the only one, because Paris will never will give me props.
No,
He will never give me props.
I won't.
I've been ahead of a game, man. Just focus, foreskew. It's coming. Years in the making. Paris. Paris is still cracking up. Enhanced. There you go. No Paris, no support, no love.
I'm afraid to talk.
Or at least an opinion. Look, somebody said here that you're hurt. My man is hurt.
I am hurt. Y'all attacking me. I give an opinion. Y'all poo-poo it. What do you want me to say? Because look, look. You know what? How about this?
Yeah. You said the same thing to me.
We know
crap in my.
Your foreskew is one of the most insane things that you've ever said in the history of the show. In the 17, 18 years of the show, that is one of the most insane things that you said. And for Pete to sit here and co-sign it
4 years later.
Insanity. It's insanity. It's complete insanity. It's not true at all.
It hasn't come true yet. It hasn't come true. I just said that it's possible that your foreskew shenanigans could potentially come true. It's not.
And if it happens,
it hasn't become real. This is Black Adam 52's question.
Pete, it's possible I could grow wings and fly over to Switzerland, but
please go ahead. Go ahead, do it. I want to see you do it. Please go away, far away. Hey man, look, if it happens, am I gonna get props? I really doubt it.
No,
Pete
you will
probably
not.
be the only one.
You absolutely
will be the only one.
Because you know what you did? You know what you did?
What?
You took this and you threw it at the wall to see what would stick. That's what that was.
Yeah.
That's what foreskew was. He was like,
no, it wasn't that. It wasn't that. This is not no random prediction. That it was just common sense. It made sense why.
Hey, ban Arctic in the chat for that nonsense too. That's nonsense too. Because if that's the case, we're at 5 SKUs. You got the original Xbox, you got the Xbox 360, you got the Xbox One, you got the Series X, and the S. 5. We're at 5 SKUs. So your 4 is wrong if we're going by that logic.
No, but I'm going based on different
series,
models.
Off the series.
Different models, different versions.
No, that's not what he said. He tried to throw the Xbox One in there.
Why not? It still works. It still have an online store. Look, technically,
you know what, Danny?
You can still buy.
You know what, Danny? My ColecoVision still works too. Should we add that in there? Should I add the Vectrex and then television too?
Paris, technically,
and the ColecoVision,
and even look, if you think about it, technically, still in 2023, you could go to the online store through your Xbox 360 and buy stuff in there.
Well,
so technically it works until next year.
Not for long.
But it's still there. So technically he's right. Arctic is right. He's not wrong. He's not wrong at all. I don't know, but you want to answer the question about the digital version besides the whole 4 SKU stuff? No? Paris, honestly, do you think that is something that we might see and keep it at a cheaper price for the? For that console?
I do think there will be an all digital Series X at some point. It just makes sense. Yeah. I did say this on another show earlier this week when talking about the Series S controversy stuff. If I was running it, if it was me, when they made all these decisions, I would not have made the S. I would have just done an all digital X and had it at $399 and away you go. That's what I would have done personally.
You think it makes sense if they would have just gone all digital purely, or do you think that there's still a necessary market?
I think this is the last generation where you include a physical disc. I think when we get to the next one, you just go all digital. I think this is the last one. I think it still made sense to still have that option, available to people. But after this, no, you just go all digital.
Yeah, because I'm wondering how many of our listeners actually bought a bunch of physical games since the release of the PS5 and the Xbox Series X and S. I'm really wondering because I don't know that many people that go to the store anymore to buy the games, man.
I think there's your poll for the next for the show, right?
The poll, yeah.
I think that's the question right there. That's your poll right there.
Someone in the chat said something breaking the fourth wall. This sure. Ash Darkthrone. I've only bought physical games this gen. Here's my question. I'm not being sarcastic or nothing. This is a dead serious question. That actually fascinates me. That you're still buying all physical discs, because in this generation, all the physical discs they're just holding data that you're just moving to your hard drive anyway. There's nothing tangible about having that physical disc versus having a digital copy. And I'm not saying it's a right or wrong thing. It's just that you said everything that you get is physical. So you're going out of your way, making sure that you get a physical disc for every game. I understand, kind of mixing it up. That's completely understandable. But going all physical, is it just for a collector item? Like I'm just curious. Like, is this because you just want to collect a physical disc, or you feel that there's a tangible benefit to having a physical disc? Because I think in this generation, there's no point. Personally, this is me. And if you think about it this way, and if you think of it this way, from like if I'm on my Xbox or my PlayStation, it's a lot easier for me to switch between all the digital games than it is the physical games. Because the physical game, all right, now I want to go play this. Now I got to get up, eject that disc, take that out. I got to put the other one in, right? Because it needs to do its DRM check. Yeah. So and that's just me. That's just me asking a question, not saying it's a right or wrong thing. It's just I personally am pretty much all digital. I only have one physical disc for this generation. That's Cyberpunk 2077 on Xbox. That's it. Everything else is all digital.
Yeah, it looks like it's a collectible.
Yeah.
And also,
that makes sense.
And I get it. Yeah, and I get it.
There's people who want to have that physical J card box on their shelf of all their games, right? And I've seen it. I was that person at one point too, right? I had all my titles together, and that was my living room peacock moment, right? It was just being able to say, here's all my video games. But now it's like, not to say it's right or wrong, it's just that's personal preference at that point, right? It's subjective to the person, subjective to the consumer. So that totally makes sense. And nobody's right or wrong for deciding which one they prefer. But yeah, it totally makes sense. I get it.
Yeah. Once again, breaking the fourth wall here, but Rihanna, shout out to her. She says, we're not the typical consumer because we have easy access to everything, which is true. Which is very, very true. So shout out to her. Anything else before we wrap it up?
No, I think that's it.
No, I'm going to go play Starfield. All right, let's end it.
Wow, just like that? Just leaving. Wow. Yeah, we're planning to have a review up on embargo date. So stay tuned for that. P, anything else from your side before we wrap it up?
Not really. Just excited. I'm actually going to go finish watching PGS 2, PUBG Global Championship. It's going on right now in the Middle East. Sonics are in first place currently. As of just before the show, they just nailed first place. So I'm looking forward to going back and watching that.
You're just putting the Starfield headphones.
Wow, Danny's an a-hole. Wow, look at that.
What?
Look at what you're doing. Look at that. Wow.
Hey man, I'm just living life. First Dominican going to space. Let's do this. All right, guys. So we're gonna wrap it up here. Thank you for watching and also listening to episode 1297. I probably will grab the X screen and the Xbox Series S. See, this is why I love the Series S. And I could play Starfield by the tub. Just have it, the little X screen on the side. What?
I did not need that visual. No, thank you.
Hey, give thanks. So guys, head over to gamertagradio.com. Listen to our content over there. Also, if you would like to send all your hate to Paris, make sure to hit him up at on X. Go over there and look up Business 696.
Apparently, people there's a tweet watch for me on X or whatever you call it now about since I got Starfield because I don't tweet no more. Which I found hilarious. I literally made it into a news article. I thought that was great.
That is pretty. That I can't believe that. I can't believe that's news. Yo, maybe Paris just needs a break from Twitter or X, whatever. Just want to.
But I will humbly say, I had the best tweet out of anybody in the world saying I had Starfield and was reviewing it. No one could top it. Nobody. And my follow-up was just as good, and everybody trying to copy it now. I win. That's why I don't tweet. I won. Just on those two, I win.
Just mic drop and walk away.
Yep.
That's all you need to do. Yeah. Okay. All right. All right, guys. Until next time, we'll be back here. Gaming Tag Radio, episode 1298 next week. Stay tuned. Later.
Thanks for listening to Gamertag Radio. Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.